Hi, I'm Linda May, and I'm a reader for Crystal Magic Psychic Center in Sedona, Arizona. And I'm here today to talk to you about this full moon period that we are beginning on the evening of August 6th at 8:48 p.m., which is Pacific Daylight Savings Time. So that means it will be full on October 6th at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you can adjust your time accordingly depending on where you are and what your location is. This is known as the harvest moon, as it is the first full moon after the autumn equinox. But it's often also referred to as the hunter's moon, which is the usual name for the full moon in October. But because this particular full moon is earlier in the month, it's more likely to be known as the harvest moon because the first full moon after the autumn equinox is known as the harvest moon, and this is the first full moon after that. It may also be called the falling leaves moon and other related names to the season. And at this time, because the moon is in Aries, it's a time to take initiative and decisive action. It's a time to prepare for winter and take some time for deep reflection and self-care, which often happens at this time of year. Be sure to balance that Aries initiative with the Libra Sun, which is more about partnerships and connection, and I'll be talking more about that, okay? So we have a full moon when the sun and moon are considered in opposition astrologically. This means that both the sun and moon are in opposing signs, and as I just mentioned, at the time of this full moon, the sun is in Libra and the moon is in Aries, and it's exactly opposed the sun. The moon is exactly opposed the sun on October 6th at 8:48 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And this is a very passionate and fiery lunation, and it can lead to very many breakthroughs involving relationships, finding the balance between self and others, a harmony between differences, and a clearer insight on how to step into deeper awareness through the mirrors that others provide for us all the time. I mean, what we see outside of us is often just a reflection of something that we have going on inside of us. True balance is an ongoing journey of alignment and refinement. So that's all a part of what we're doing here, okay? Aspect-wise, we do have some upcoming periods of disorder and a little bit of confusion around the end of December, including some challenges with others due to the Saturn square moon on September 28th and 29th. I talked about this at the last new moon. By the time this full moon comes around, this would already be past us. So this is stuff, I'm doing this on September 29th. So these are the things that have just happened or are just about to happen, okay? There are some challenges due to Saturn squaring the moon, basically yesterday and today, and I know I've had some challenges, so I get it. On October 1st, Mercury squares Jupiter, which actually helps with communications. It really makes a big difference. So that means like in 2 days, we should start being able to communicate better with others and create more harmony and that sort of thing. On the day of the full moon, Mercury squares Pluto, however, and that is, Mercury is the planet of communication and Pluto is intensity. So it may affect communications in a more negative way, but it might actually affect it in a more positive way too, because the intensity could be one way or the other. So just keep that in mind, but squares often aren't positive unless it's like with Jupiter or something like that. And after the full moon on October 6th, we do see Pluto turning direct on October 13th. So that's, like a week later. And that brings a sense of more ambition and less confusion, but also a little bit of a sense of longing. And that partially has to do with relationships. And it also, it reminds us this power can help us with deep changes that are to come. And it combines well with the Aries-Libra energies that we've already mentioned. So additionally, on the 13th, which is the same time we see Pluto going direct, which is actually a good thing because the intensity could be a very positive thing when it's direct. Venus enters Aries on the 13th, which actually aids in harmonizing relationships. So, it's an interesting time because it's one way or the other, back and forth for a few weeks. So be aware of that. It is a time to rebuild and remember the value of fairness and honesty in all things. And I can't emphasize that enough. I totally and truly believe that. So we do have some things to watch for, and it is important for me to mention it so that you do understand what's going on when things are happening. All right, just before I literally came into work today, my sink clogged in my kitchen, and it's full of brown water that I didn't have time to fix. I mean, that's the kind of stuff, you know, it's just like, what is this about? I don't understand it. So we'll see what I need to do once I get home and how to deal with it and stuff. But those are the kind of challenges I'm talking about. They're completely unexpected. I did not expect that at all. So, and that's just one of many, but that was the most recent one that I just went through like half an hour ago. So we're now we're now in the season of autumn, which began officially on September 22nd, which is why this is the harvest moon. And it's marking a winding down of the harvest season, where the day and night were equally balanced on September 22nd. Very similar to the spring equinox, when the days are equally balanced, but now the light wanes by day and darkness lasts longer by night. So it actually gets darker earlier in the evening and the sun rises later in the morning. It's a time for Thanksgiving for the fruits that we've reaped and the goodness of the earth, and a time to reflect on life and what's to come, as I had mentioned with one of the aspects. And this actually moves us into the last of the 3 harvest seasons. There were 3 harvest seasons. So the first one is called Lunisad, and that's the beginning of the harvest season, when the first corn and wheat and stuff like that starts ripening. The main harvest season is Autumn Equinox, and that's when things are really coming to fruition. And then the final harvest season is Samhain, which is the end of the year, and that's when you're just cleaning up all the rest of the stuff and preparing for winter. So it's like the last of the harvest, the autumn seasons and the harvest seasons, and then the beginning of the winter seasons. But we'll talk more about that at the next new moon, which will be in a few weeks. The traditional Celtic tree calendar, which is based on the moon cycles with the new year beginning at Samhain on October 31st, has the tree for this period of, I say the September-October moon cycle because the new moon was at the end of, towards the end of September. It was like I think the 19th or the 20th. So it was like just before the autumn equinox. So this is sort of a combination of the September-October, and the moon cycle is reed, okay? And so we had talked about this at the new moon too, and this is reed. And similar to the Aries energy, reed is about focusing, taking direction, direct action, having convictions and all of that kind of stuff. It's a very strong energy. And this is from the Celtic Tree Oracle deck here, okay? And again, reed, okay? So it does mean set your intentions and maybe make daily affirmations. That's kind of what I do, especially when I need it, like when my sink floods. And read is also taking care of your health during this time. So that's something to remember and think about at this time, okay? It's self-care, not on all levels, even physical. So do keep that in mind. Now, the Druid Craft Tarot, I'm going to pull a card from this deck here. This is the Druid Animal Oracle deck. This is the one I use for most of the readings that I do in person and on Zoom and stuff like that. Very deep messages, beautiful, beautiful cards. I always love what comes through. And I know that the things that these cards stand for are making a difference in the lives of the people I do readings for. So I really, really, really love these cards. And interestingly, this is so in alignment. It's the goose. And what the goose stands for is productivity and vigilance. So this is a time that we can move into productivity, and part of this, moving into the next of the harvest seasons, we're sort of like right after autumn equinox now, is taking the time to be vigilant, do the things that you need to do, get things accomplished, be productive, do all of that stuff. But one of the things I like to remind people of with this card is don't go overboard. Remember to pace yourself. Don't try to get everything done yesterday if you can help it. Take the time you need to get it done so you don't wear yourself out, okay? And that's part of what I was talking about taking care of your health. Sometimes we just need to do that. We need time for us. It's important. Okay, now the Druid Craft Tarot, which I just mentioned, this is the one I do my daily readings with. I do a daily card pull every day online on Facebook, and this is the deck I use for that, the Druid Craft Tarot deck. Same artist, same author. Okay, beautiful cards too, typical tarot cards, but the messages are a little bit different because of the way, they're interpreted from a more druid, center, that kind of thing. So the card I get today is the Chariot. Now this also is very much in alignment with what we're talking about. The Chariot has to do with taking control of your life, surrendering when you need to, knowing what the right thing to do is. It's like the two different horse colors, right? You know when it's time to charge in, you know when it's time to hold back. That's all that this is about. And it also has to do with doing your own inner development so that you know the right things to do. It brings wisdom as you need it. So this is actually a really good card for this, for all the things I talked about with the aspects and everything. It's just amazing. So, but the strength, obviously the strength is part of what we talked about from the very beginning because of the Aries moon, and then the Libra is finding that balance, okay, and that's what she's doing there. So perfect card. The Whispering Woods deck, which is, oh, I forgot to take the cards out. This Whispering Woods deck is the trees, and I like to always draw a card from here because the trees are wise. You know, they have the wisdom of the ages. And the messages are simple and usually very relevant and something that people can take with them. And this is a very interesting one. This is caution, okay? Caution, tread softly so as not to disturb the woodland floor. So part of that is knowing when to yield and knowing when to charge forth. So this is saying sometimes go slowly, take it easy, pace yourself. That's what I was saying with this one, right? Pace yourself. So do what you need to do to be cautious and not go overboard, all right? So that's great. And now the Sedona Spirit Wind deck, which is this beautiful deck here. It has all the sites of Sedona, basically all the different places in Sedona and what the spiritual meanings are, which is actually really kind of amazing. So let's see what we get. We get Tlaquepaque, okay? Tlaquepaque is like one of in West Sedona especially, it's like the big shopping center. It has like a lot of amazing shops and all kinds of things that you can get, okay? So, but it is considered also sacred because of its views of the red rocks and all that. This is a view from Tlaquepaque, or of Tlaquepaque. And it's interesting because what this says is it's the best of everything. The best of everything is who I am. So this is a reminder that we have value. You know, this is a reminder that we are rich in our own way, and it's something to keep in mind. And this is part of Sedona reminding us of that. So that's actually really cool. I love that. Okay, and then the Light Bearers deck, which is a group of angels that are coming in to help us to basically, change our ways and to bring a new world into being. So the Light Bearers deck, the angel guidance cards. Okay, and these cards are just, I love that they have such deep messages, and they're so much a part of my soul, to be honest, and I know that. It's, Anyway, we get, and we've had this before, but it's one of the archangels, Archangel Sophia, okay? And Sophia, interestingly, is a goddess of wisdom. So what this says, in alignment with the things I was saying, to love and appreciate yourself is one of the greatest gifts you will ever experience. Heaven knows your value, and each day sings a song of appreciation for you and all you do. So do love and appreciate yourself. Know that, remember that, but also know that you are being blessed by the angels. That they are singing songs of appreciation for you every day. We always have that inner guidance, whether we realize it or not. It's always there. So this is a reminder of that. What a great message. Okay, so I'll be back again before the new moon, which is on October 21st, and I'll tell you more at that time. And in the meantime, if you would like to have a psychic soul reading or a counseling session in person by phone or Zoom at Crystal Magic Psychic Center, mostly on Mondays and Fridays. In October, I will be gone for a few days because I'm gonna be going on vacation in New England, which I'm really excited about. But most of the time I'm here Monday afternoon 2 to 6 and Friday mornings 10 to 2. So if you want to book an appointment with me, you can actually go to our website, crystalmagicpsychiccenter.com, and you can book it in person, Zoom, phone, whatever it is that you want to do. But if you book it, you got that slot. If it's available, you'll get it. And the days I'm not here are already not on that calendar. So keep that in mind. And If you would like a reading with one of our other incredible readers, we have readers that do all different kinds of things, and they love what they do too in their own way, and they have special gifts. And we like to say, go to the one that calls to you, because that's the one that has the message for you. So do that. And I do want to wish you blessings of this full moon. It's going to be a doozy, but it's also going to be ultimately anything that challenges us is leading us to more wisdom, and that's part of what this is about, right? So everything is something that's helping us to be better and more. So do keep that in mind, and remember, you are always loved. Blessings.